Don't mind us. We're just talking about Japanese Spider-Man. How's everybody doing?
There is water everywhere. This cat is like flicking water everywhere like crazy.
Awesome.
I'm looking for how I can watch all of.
Hope everybody's doing well in these somewhat trying times of isolation and everything due to the Corona panic. I know we appear to be close together, but don't worry, we're professionals.
We're as far apart as we usually are.
I'm reaching to touch everybody.
Stop touching me, Pete.
Pete.
Hello,
Pete.
Dee.
You're that
Hello,
way
Dan.
for me.
Hello, Lucy.
You're that way for me.
Do it wrong
Pete,
way.
I'll
we got-
reach through Pickle Dog.
Hello.
Ah!
Summer.
Sorry if that was uncomfortable for you,
I
Pickle
miss
Dog.
working with these mature adult people here. Hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Ikifu is in the chat.
It's
and
always time for chaos.
Ikifu is in the chat and not amongst us in the cameras. I would say something about that, but last time, well, we know what happened. Also got Didi and Dan Astic and Lucy Phonic and Kigarame. Hello to everybody in the chat, and hello to everybody joining me. We got Pete, we got the Wanderer, whose mind has just been blown by Spider-Man using a leopard-themed robot, Pickle Dog, Avoozle, and Rizolka. How you guys doing?
I mean, what can you even say to that?
I just woke up. Let's do
These
this.
are already uncertain times, and then you just get hit with that. Like, come on.
Oh, the things you miss when we're preparing to go live.
It's readying your soul.
Yeah.
You know?
It does feel nice to see Wanderer after
thanks.
his long absence. Wanderer and Pete, who
Nice to see all
just
you guys, too.
reminded me she hasn't been on a Yar Talk in quite a while. How many shows has it been?
It's been a lot.
A million, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like she said. I could have sworn she'd been on some, but it was just FMV Club I'd been thinking of.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we got some
Icky-foo.
old friends back, so to speak.
He's blaming the host there.
Ikifu says you can't jump in. He doesn't have 7-person frame. Like that would stop you. But anyway.
It's never stopped me before.
You know, technically he could jump in. He is part of that DM.
Yeah.
He could, total. He said it wasn't the time for chaos, but I feel like now is the perfect time for chaos. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
Now,
Everything's
no
fucked
one-
up. Just go with it.
No one peer pressure, Ikifu.
the Yar
Everyone
Talk
just
sign
point
could
at
be
him.
sacrificed for a 7th person. Dude, do you know how many minutes I put into that logo? What the fuck?
How dare you?
Syria.
The minutes.
seventh
The
guest.
minutes of hard work.
We found him.
No
We
respect.
found the 7th guest. He
Yeah.
was there the whole time.
Yeah.
I found him.
Put-
I found the seventh guest.
It was you. It was you all along.
It's the boy, the best boy.
The best boy!
Boy.
I was like,
We
yeah, that makes
found
sense.
him.
He's the best boy. Yeah.
The boy.
That logo was a solid 70 seconds in Minecraft.
I should try and replicate that. logo
Holy
in Minecraft.
crap.
Oh, come here.
I bet I could.
Savage.
Come here. Come here. Oh.
Now look here. I'll have you know it was 80 seconds. Anyway,
First of all,
I'll do a Minecraft stream.
so
just
yeah,
recreating
of
the-
course, with the whole coronavirus pandemic going on, it's kind of a slow news week in terms of things going on in the adventure gaming world. But we got a couple of notes to talk about. First off, itch.io, among other platforms, I'm sure, but they're the first one I've noticed anyway. Excuse me. Have released, well, they haven't released, but they put a huge number of the games either on a massive discount or just flat out free. So,
There are
saw
some
that,
you know, to try and
amazing games in that
curb
list.
the cabin fever, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Got their site up. Let me bring it up real quick. Hey, there it is. Magic. Real magic. Sorry. Now you got me doing it.
Real magic.
But yeah, they got quite a few games on, again, massive discount or just flat out free. I went ahead and picked this one
cool
up
is that?
because, I mean,
You should
it's
you should
doggy.
pick up a Mortician's Tale.
That's a great little game, that.
It's a very good
Yeah, I
game.
saw Push Out Roses do a video on that. Doesn't seem like my particular cup of tea, but it still seems like an interesting game
it's a
nonetheless.
great story. Very
A
interesting.
lot of these I haven't heard of. That
Night in the Woods
this
is on
one
sale.
I think might be on my Steam wish list. I can't tell. MacBat64, one of my first, in fact, probably the first QuickTime event video I did on platformers. This was one of the games I covered, and this is quite the fun. And holy shit! Apparently,
So
it's been updated since the last time I played it. There's a new Christmas themed level in it, But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
pick this up if nothing else. This is a fun game, a fun throwback to Nintendo 64 platformers like Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie and that type of thing.
It looks great.
It is amazingly fun, yeah, lots more fun-looking games here. Again, huge discounts, if not just flat out free.
The
So
Norwood Suite, pretty good shit.
that one I haven't heard of.
Yeah, I would
Screenshots look
recommend
good.
it. I would recommend it. I mean, if you look at it and it sounds like anything you're interested in, you'll enjoy it.
But yeah,
Robots Warehouse is on sale. Wow.
Yeah, that's a
there's,
great list.
I'm sure there's multiple avenues for getting your
Art
game
School,
fix.
very cool game.
There's itch.io, and again, of course, if you have the Epic Store, they're doing their usual weekly. Oh,
So many.
Kataif is there too. Kataif was pretty interesting. Not necessarily a bad game, but it's interesting. It's free, so you don't exactly have anything to lose to try it right now.
Cheap is free. That's
Is that like a mist-like kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at those screenshots. That's cool.
Another one I did
I'll check
on
that out.
one of my QuickTime events. Funnily enough, the Mist-like one. But yeah,
now's a great time to replay Myst.
yep.
I was thinking that actually.
But yeah,
been
lots
wanting to.
and lots of good games there.
Oh, Gaby.
Oh,
Sweet. Such a good boy.
He's a good kitty.
And
He's
there's a
good
cat.
kitty.
You gonna look at anyone, or are you just gonna look off?
this is just going to be the rest of the stream now. Everybody
I
staring at the cat.
amazingly don't have any cats down here. They've all been
Yeah, cats.
kicked out.
I mean, it was either
No.
this or half of us playing Animal Crossing, so.
I mean, mine is technically already on.
I'm leaving it over there. I'm not gonna go get it. I will go get
It's a
it.
punny, a very
Yeah.
punny game, Animal Crossing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Nintendo Switch, if you just go into the Switch marketplace, there are literally games selling for a penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a few.
That's cool.
Just go into the store and say games on sale, and basically all of the really cheap ones have bubbled to the top. So yeah, just give it a skim.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
Drawful
I'm giving it a
2
look right
was
now.
9 cents.
Yeah.
That up. I pay anything that was like a penny. I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. Even if I've never heard of it and I don't know if I play it.
'Cause I didn't think to check the eShop.
Penny. I have pennies.
Icky
don't
Foo
normally have-
says he feels like the only person playing Doom Eternal, and as Backseat Designers figured out, Doom is an adventure game. So
Hi, what are you doing?
I'll allow it. I am the
Indeed.
arbiter.
Oh, wow.
I allow it.
Well, as long as you.
Half-Life Alyx is an adventure game too, apparently.
Which one?
Half-Life
Half-Life.
Alyx.
Everything's
Yeah,
adventure games at
Adventure
this point.
game.
Let's
Who
see.
knows? Is that an adventure game? Sure. That's just
Yeah.
Sure, why
It's like,
not?
it's got a plot. It's an adventure game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hi, Dee Dee.
hello, Red Star.
Thanks for the cookies.
Oh, that reminds me. I still haven't done that Book of PI rules. I can do that now. So I'm time.
Hey,
you're finally
Agony's
got
on
a
sale
PI.
if anybody wants to pick that up.
Someone got stood down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Don't do
Well, my full-time Dale Denton process serving gig got stood down. I'm still a PI. It's just no one's hiring PIs right now.
Yeah.
got no mysteries to solve.
That's
We
right.
have a mystery to solve, Dave. It's called Synergist.
The ultimate mystery.
That's the case that's gonna haunt us for our whole careers.
That's the
No.
cold case. Yeah.
That's our
I
meme,
have
I guess.
some, like adventure game specific mysteries. We should start a new series.
This is mine. This is mine.
Oh,
My
this is
cookies. My cookies.
Especially for you, Dee Dee. That and we've had cats. We need a dog. Yeah,
Solve
she's
the
a good
mystery
girl.
of the
She's a
DOS
good
version
girl.
of Laser Lords with me.
Done. Yeah. Done. Let's do
I'm
it.
on the trail.
Hmm.
I'm on the trail. I just haven't had
Good
time.
girl.
Now I have time. Maybe I can email the people I need to.
Lucy is suggesting that Scrabble isn't an adventure game. Isn't it, though?
What's more of
I
an
beg
adventure
to differ.
than finding a word
Yeah.
in
No,
a
not
series
my
of
water.
letters?
I mean, it's got a text
That's a
parser, hasn't
puzzle
it?
that shows up in video games all the time.
That's true.
Good job. Good job. You win.
She's a good girl.
So wait. What is the topic for this episode?
Yes.
Who knows?
Exactly. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, Animals Crossings.
No, I think Rizolka's got a topic in mind for us, but we'll get to that later. So what have you been doing? What have you all been doing to sort of stem the tide of cabin fever, so to speak?
Animal Crossing.
Other than Animal Crossing.
This one crossed.
Animal Crossing in my backyard.
What, in front of the neighbors?
Yeah.
No, I got a big backyard. It's all fenced off, like privacy fence. I just
Well,
go
right
sit
now
out there.
it's being on
Play
Yar
Animal
Talk because this is my first day of cabin fever. This is day one.
Talking with
Not
us and
going well.
looking up Japanese Spider-Man.
I haven't left my house since before all of this started.
That's exactly
so
what I've done.
I'm all right.
Lucy's been playing Stardew Valley. Nice. Deep Space
I
Nine and
went out
Doctor Who.
yesterday.
Good combination.
Actually, Doctor Who. Speaking of Doctor Who, I
Classic
did
or new
start
series?
watching Doctor Who.
Classic's very fun.
Oh, yes.
As
And
Kigurumi
you
says,
can-
he has 1,000,001 projects. Yes, that's the
You
thing.
can actually
I don't know
stream
boredom.
all the classics, all the surviving classics from here. I just put that in the chat.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, archive.org
Also, if-
has.
well,
All of them, yeah.
I was gonna say BritBox has
All
it
of
as
them,
well, but
yeah.
archive.org is how should I put this? Free. So
I want.
Well, BritBox isn't available in Australia. Funny enough,
No.
you think it would
Oh.
be, but it's not.
weird. Well,
Yeah.
then, there you go. If you're Australian, there you go. Head to that site, archive.org. And Lucy's been watching the new series. Well, nobody's perfect. No, I'm kidding.
Yes,
the
I will
new
be
series
kind.
does
Doctor
have
Who
its good
good.
points. I will admit that.
There,
Nope, no BritBox in Australia.
Eccleston is a pretty good choice.
I
For
have
favorite
to
Doctor that a
admit,
lot of people don't
I
play.
appreciate
I don't mind him.
I appreciate what the Eccleston and the Tennant eras did for
For
bring the
the-
Doctor Who back to the air.
The fandom, I
But
guess you could
I
say.
I can't get into them. It's just too much
It's
focus
a
on
very
romance.
It's a very
That's not
different
really Doctor Who to
series.
me.
Yeah, it's a very like, it's kind of like inspired mostly by
No
the
worries,
Fifth
Lucy.
Doctor. Kind of had that whole thing with what was it, Perry? That was his. That was like.
Oh, yeah, with Peter
Maybe-
Davison and
Well,
maybe-
that's
Tom
yeah.
Baker.
Sixth
Maybe
Doctor.
they'll get
Yeah.
together. Like that kind of. I feel like that whoever was writing that. I'm just gonna say whoever was writing those series, the new ones, was like,
Self-insertion.
that's the one I love. That's the one I
Yeah.
want to be inspired by. When like, come on, they're so much better.
Yeah,
Not that it's bad.
new series didn't really get to be Doctor Who-y, for lack of a better term, till Matt Smith's era.
Yeah, I really.
And to
have
date,
been-
that's the only new
yeah.
Doctor Who's complete era I've seen. I watched a bit of Capaldi. I watched a bit of Whitaker.
I didn't mind
like
Capaldi. He had
Whittaker.
classic
I've been
Yeah,
vibes.
Lucy,
her.
David Tennant's married to Peter Davison's daughter. She played his own daughter
played-
in one
yeah.
of the
Yeah,
episodes, which was
Jenny.
kind of creepy.
Georgia Tennant is. I follow her on Twitter. She is hilarious. just
Well, I mean,
just like,
she's married to David Tennant, so it probably rubs off.
My one is no
He
different
puts
from
him on
yours.
blast on Twitter all the time. It's hilarious. You guys have to follow her if you want to see that.
Sounds about
It's
right.
really funny.
Gabriel,
She's always making fun of him. It's great.
you can't just stand on the keyboard, Gabriel.
Screen?
I'm sorry.
We're all transfixed by the doggy now.
Well, we given up for the Gaby, have we? The Gaby's right here. I'm
Ga-
rubbing the Gaby's
Ga-
I
butt.
just can't see it.
Gabe is practicing social distancing.
Now I feel
Oh,
like
now he's
I
not.
need
Never mind.
something to
He's
cuddle.
There we go.
he's being touched.
I left all my animals upstairs.
Oh.
So anyway, what else have you been doing to keep sane?
I've been playing Chocolatier.
What is that? I don't
It's
think I've heard
kind
of
of
that.
yeah. So it's a chocolate making strategy management game.
Ooh.
So you travel the
That's a
world,
combination.
It's like-
making yeah.
Chocolate tycoon kind of thing.
Yeah, so you
Ooh.
basically you have to go
Sold.
around buying all like the ingredients and all that, and then selling off what
Sold.
you buy, and then you actually have to make the chocolate, but you have to do it by shooting chocolate into cannons.
Nice.
It's a
how
bizarre.
they
Like,
make
Okay.
I had it like
The Soviet
I bought it
chocolates.
on what's it called on Big Fish like years and years ago. I played the first two games, so when I was like, I feel like the mood for that. I'm like, I have the third game which I've never played, so we've almost finished that. But the fun thing about that is that they also allow you to make your own
Get the dogs.
chocolates.
My dogs are asleep.
Like
Yeah.
your own flavors of chocolate?
Yeah, so like you have to put together ingredients and all that. And I think we've got the first chocolate that we came up
Wasabi?
with Wasabi is in one of them with strawberries, I think.
DD mentioned that. Wasabi and strawberries.
Yeah, the first one that we made was that all that is glitter is not mold, and then it just started devolving from there. So like we're now down to like the bitch hops and your basic bitch, and just like
What's in the basic bitch?
Hang on, let me open it because I can tell you.
Imagine buying a basic bitch bar from a service station or something.
Well, actually, it's a bonbon.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
So
Oh, it's a bonbon.
It's a bonbon. You basic
Love a
bitch.
bonbon.
Basic
You basic
bonbon
bitch
bitch.
bonbon.
I'm a basic bitch. I love a bonbon.
Yeah. So so that's been fun. Like the game is actually a lot longer than I thought it was compared to the other two. Like we've been playing it for maybe like almost 10 hours now. And it's coming out of the wrong audio source. Sorry about that, everyone.
Whoops.
I replayed Conquest of Camelot for the first time in like 30 years.
Oh, nice.
It really holds up. Really fun. Besides the arcade segments, which are just bad, just not fun. The rest of it, I didn't even use I didn't need a walkthrough. I just took notes. Had totally offline when I played it.
Yeah.
Great experience. Highly recommended to if you haven't played that game or if you haven't replayed it in a long time, go back to it. I think you'd be surprised.
streamed it. We streamed it about this time last year, actually.
So fun.
In the grandma hole. Before the grandma hole was the grandma hole. Basic Bob, basic
Hey,
bitch
Granda's
bar and
love.
a dare. Yeah, hi Grandy. So in your basic bitch, which again is a bonbon, it is
That's the
pumpkin,
laugh.
pumpkin wasabi, whipped cream, and cocoa.
That doesn't sound basic at all.
DD says they let Rizolka
I-
name
no, no,
chocolates. It was never going to end PG.
Because like the whole idea is that this bonbon will make you feel like you're basic because this is so complicated. And then of course we had the bitch hop, which is a truffle. It has caramel, strawberries, black tea, whipped cream, cocoa, and truffle.
Just real quick, how many of your recipes have the word bitch in the name?
Those are the only two, because then it moves on to the little man in the boat, which we haven't made yet.
Uh-huh.
And I love it because you can write them and then put like a little little tagline to it, and it just says you know, the little man in the boat.
Do a winky, you know.
Wink.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more.
We've also got the Australian mold, which is a coffee. Oh, we've also got the bowel blender. Our most popular coffee flavor is the bowel blast.
I can imagine. That would be the most popular
You
one.
know, you need that sometimes.
It has
medicine.
Yeah, it has
Sometimes you just need a good colon cleanse. There you go.
Yeah, that's what we call
Yeah.
8 dares here in Australia.
Yeah, it has it's got coffee.
It's iced coffee.
Yeah. It's also called. It's got coffee in it. It's got chocolate in it, and then it's got peppers in it. That's gonna blast your bowel. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
Right
saying.
through you.
You will not have a bowel left.
There you go, Pete. I'll also put it in the chat for anyone interested.
This stream has reminded Icky Food that he has a chocolate bar. Therefore, this is a good stream.
Oh yes. And then the one that we just made that we haven't eaten yet, that we haven't made yet, is called your flour for a shiny pound. Come, little girl. You don't need that flour.
You know.
Can you please make a Claire chocolate?
Yeah, okay, the next one will be a Claire chocolate. I do still have 4 slots left, so but yeah, so this your flour for a shiny pound, it has chocolate liqueur
It'll
in
blast
it.
your bowels of everyone within
Sugar.
5 meters.
Yeah, candied rose petals, truffles, cocoa, and amaretto. That's a very alcoholic
You could call it an eclair.
Oh,
I love it.
all right,
Love
yeah,
Basically, we haven't even been going half an hour, and we're already very French.
yeah. Hi everyone.
Bienvenue à Yar Talk. No, I'm sorry.
Not
I apologize to
very
all
enough.
French viewers.
But yeah, no, so that's been fun, and then we've just been doing some chill streams of Animal Crossing. I did some art the other day because I was trying out Blender's grease paint tools.
Yeah, I streamed
I
Animal
liked
Crossing
some of that. That
when
was
I first
very
got it, and some jackass came into the chat making puns all over the place. I had to time him out and everything.
I hope you banned him. I hope you
Yeah.
banned him, actually. I fucking hate those people. Jesus.
I still need to watch that one.
Oh yeah. And,
His
and
name
then, of
may have
course,
been Dave.
Yeah.
We'll
And then
never
of
know.
course,
We'll never know. Yeah,
to tie into our main
could
topic
have been
of
anyone
the
on the
day,
internet.
I've
Okay,
been
we have a
playing a
topic.
game
Yeah,
series
let's
called
let's go ahead and move into our main topic, and I'll
yes.
throw the floor
I'm-
to Rizolka.
Grundislav,
Thank you.
make chocolate coconut shavings for the barber.
Yes, there are coconut shavings, so that is 100% what will happen. I've been playing a little game. I streamed it about a week and a half ago, called The Color of Murder. I thought it was like I thought it was a hidden object game, and I'd had it for years and years and years and years, and DD is now realizing this is what we're talking about.
I am
If
not
DD's
yet.
scared, I'm scared, man.
I'm looking forward
Okay.
to whatever this
Well, Dave, you technically
Today's
saw a
main
little
topic
bit
is
of it.
basically a rant.
I
Well,
actually
no,
I did,
it's-
didn't I? I
Yeah.
stopped in, didn't I?
It's made in the Wintermute system, so it's technically a Myst-like, but I think that this game makes Myst look highly interactive and a well thought out story. With
Hey.
actually, I can't.
Mist is both of those
The
things.
story's really good in this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well,
I
this just
find
makes
it
it sound
real-
even better.
Yeah, this makes it even better than before. I always found Myst kind of like dull
was
and dry and a bit lonely. Like, actually, no, really lonely.
It's purposely so.
I mean, I can
I-
give you
this
is
lonely.
not the
I'll give you
Mist.
lonely because it
Yeah,
is.
we're
I
not trying
don't
to
like
defend-
feeling alone in games.
It's
That's just me.
purposely lonely, but okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fine.
but this is
Fine.
a game that it's fine.
Fine.
It's like so many photographs stitched together, and there's barely anything to
Oh,
interact
that
with.
one. Yep.
Yeah.
I know the one. Yep. Now I remember
So-
that one.
Like, I think
I
it's
did
got
stop
something
into that.
like 500 photographs per scene,
Yeesh.
and you can click on maybe like 5 or 6 things in that scene. It's intense. It's like you're investigating the murder of this guy, and you're going through his workplace because for some reason, it's because it's set in Sweden, and everyone's on holidays during that week. So yeah, see, Grundy remembers. He says Stina is budget Gwyneth Paltrow. Fun fact: that is actually the voice of Carol. Stina is Carol. So
Oh, I thought
I'm
you were going to say
wondering now
Gwyneth
if it's-
Paltrow was the voice of Carol.
Oh
No,
god,
no,
if
no,
only.
twist.
If only.
Surprise! She did it before she was famous.
But yeah, so it's kind of like you're going through his workplace, just going through all his stuff and all that. But like it's like literally the backside of an entire theater that they've taken pictures of, and it's like, look at all this. There's paint everywhere. Of course, this is called The Color of Murder. Like we must be finding something here. There is 2 things to find in this entire scene, and so the moment I started like just trying it out, I'm just like, this is a crime. We are playing a point and click and crime.
This is a crime.
Yeah, it's because so the main topic is it's not about Carol Reed, although the fact that it is I found out later it's game 5 in a 15 game long series.
15
They've been
games.
been making a game every single year for the past 15 years, and also we will be.
Yeah,
What did I just say?
Sorry.
that
No,
long,
Grundy.
sure.
Oh,
Totally not shovelware or anything like that.
No, but what's it called? And Kigurami, he's just gifted me the most recent one, so we're gonna have to stream that because I want to see if there's been any evolution.
Have to is a strong
solving the
phrase.
Same
Anyway.
murder.
But the main topic is point and click crimes, as in like UI or video game experiences that just kind of hamper the whole game down, that make you go, "Meh." Like so.
I have an opinion.
I've got another example. There's a Jack the Ripper game that's on DOS, and
Oh.
I've barely
Not
played.
I thought you were
ours,
about to
though,
talk
right?
talk
No,
about.
not ours.
3 mini games in a row. That's a crime.
We'll talk about that. But like, so there's a Jack the Ripper.
Shivers is a crime.
That is a crime. Well, actually, so technically, I wouldn't consider that so much of a crime if it wasn't, if
So
the
much a
game
crime
told you-
as such a
I feel like a
felony.
bear
Yeah.
claw. I love bear
Yeah.
claws.
Well, it's kind of like Shivers. I'd be like, okay, if you told me, like, if the game actually told you what it was about, rather than you having to read the manual.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's the doors. It's the doors that you solve
Yes.
a puzzle to
Oh,
go through
yeah.
one way, and then when you have to go back through them, you have to solve it again. And then to go back through the
no,
door a
that is
third time, you have to
That
solve
is
it
a
again.
crime.
That
Okay,
is
will
that
arrest
is
you.
100% a crime.
That,
But
yeah.
the actual, like, the whole main, like,
Icky
you
Fu
know,
knows
going
what I'm
around.
talking about. He was
Yeah,
there
the-
with me through that whole thing, and I was a wreck. He had to comfort
Yeah.
me.
But it's kind of like, what's it called? Like, that, I'd also consider the felony rather than the crime of Shivers would be the fact that the game doesn't actually tell you what's going on. The game just throws you in.
But
And it's
the
like,
thing,
alright,
yeah,
I'm
that's
solving
you know
puzzles.
what? That's fine because
Oh, no, I died so many times.
As you read stuff and pick stuff up, like the little articles and journals and things, you get the sense of okay, because the story of Shivers is you are thrown in there by your friends anyway. So like really,
Yeah, that's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
But like, what's it called? There's no because it used to like I'd pick up the thing and be like, why did that hurt me? And then like being like continually walking around and then being like, why is everything hurting me? Like there's no. That is 100% certain, sir. He's just mentioned Runaway, a road adventure, is a crime.
The whole game is a crime.
The whole game is a crime.
You know what? You know what?
I will
You know what?
arrest
I
you.
didn't mind Dream of the Turtle.
Oh,
I'd never heard of that.
But the other two,
How
that's
did you
Runaway
get
too.
that far? How did you get that far?
I was very young. and
I
very,
remember-
Very
I rem-
stupid.
Like, what's it called? So we opened a DFO in Australia. Like, it was our first DFO, and I went along. I can't remember how old I was at this point.
Oh
now.
shit, we
Ooh,
got a
we've been
raid from
raided.
Human
Ooh.
Interact.
But I
Woohoo,
can't remember
Interact
how old I
raid.
was. But we
Hello,
were at
chipboard.
DFO, and what's it called? I went past and I went, oh,
Hello.
look, Mum, it's an adventure game, and I'm holding Runway. And I'm like, I love these. I love these. Can I get this? And she bought it for me, and I took it home and I put it in my computer and went,
Oh, the feeling.
Thank you for the
love
raid,
this.
everybody from
Chipboard
Human Interact.
Board
Welcome.
raid.
what have I done?
God.
We're just talking about crimes against humanity as perpetrated by point-and-click games.
Yes.
Yeah.
No
we've established
feedback from the
Shivers.
game. That's a
Shivers.
crime.
Yeah.
Fucking door.
That is a crime.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that
Fine.
is
I mean, to say other
And Shivers does
things.
that. Shivers does that as well.
Yeah.
I got a couple
Yeah, that
examples for you.
feedback.
I hate Shivers so much.
Torn
Trial
apart.
and error gameplay.
Puzzles that shuffle themselves for no damn reason, aka
Yes.
the eyes of
David
Ara.
Dawes' sexual assault by Polar Bear.
What?
What?
I think
Please
that
someone
might be in
explain
that
what I
game.
just said.
Sir,
What just
Oh
happened?
wait,
What
yeah,
just
Dream of
happened?
the
Sir,
Turtle.
please.
Shit. Holy shit! I forgot about that. No. I don't need to fuck Dream of the Turtle. fuck all those games and the prison one. Fuck all that shit.
Anyway,
Didn't happen.
the eyes of
Oh.
Ara. There's this section where you're trying to unlock something or other. I forget what.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Dave knows what I'm talking about. By there's like these paintings that are divided into tiles, and the tiles are twisted every which way, and you have to twist the tiles
Yep.
in the right direction. But every few clicks, several other tiles will twist themselves of their own accord, making it like 100 times more difficult than it needs to be. And
I
it
hate
was
that
at that
shit.
point that I decided,
I'm pretty
fuck
sure
that game.
that's on my channel from way back in the day when I started and never finished that game.
Yeah.
And you know
And-
why?
It sounds horrible.
I'll tell you a game I played for an even shorter time. Was just recently, a couple of days ago. I played the demo, or well, tried to play the demo would be more accurate, for a game called Cutish or Cutish or something like that. Cutish. And
It made you want to cut-ish. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Because the reason I decided not to play it was because the movement scheme. You move forward, backward, and side to side with the keyboard keys. The keys in question were Q, S, Z, and D.
Wait.
No, thank you.
On the keyboard. Q, S,
Yeah,
Z, and D.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Maybe it was
so
designed
that was
on
my
a French-
reaction.
Who's-
Maybe it
Is
was
it like-
designed on a
is it
French
like
keyboard.
what's-
Whose hand is
like-
shaped like that?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was about
know.
to say, is that
No.
like Wasad that's been like turned on its side?
Yeah.
No, it's not even that.
It had to come
It's
from
an
a French
A.
No,
keyboard. I
it's-
mean, because on a French keyboard, it's AZERTY.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there were comments in the
It's French.
Steam discussions for
Very
it that you
French.
could
Yeah.
get around that by pressing some kind of combination on your keyboard to switch regions or something like that.
Yeah, well,
But,
if
first
you change
off,
your
I
region
shouldn't
to
have
France,
to.
it'll probably fix it, yeah.
First off, I shouldn't have to. Second, the game didn't have a way to rebind the damn controls. So, no.
Wow.
If you see Kutish or Cutish, C-U-T-I-S-H,
really
avoid
I
it
was
at all
going to bring
costs.
up Ween. I was going to bring up Ween.
If we talk about Wing, this is the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
We'll save it
Well,
for
let
later.
Let me
then.
bring up
I
one
would
point
say-
about Ween
yeah.
that ties back to...
Fireflies.
Well,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
Fireflies.
I'd say most
if you
of
do a
Wing
puzzle...
isn't a
Hang on,
crime.
Pickle Dog.
It's- Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, who's talking?
Yeah.
The Firefly puzzle is a great example of a game design that's easy to fix, really, and that if you solve a puzzle, or at least solve a portion of a puzzle, don't make the player do it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Especially not 6 more times or
Yeah.
however.
I mean, you solve the first time. It's a fairly elaborate thing. We have to do two transforms of your copper ball. You have to
Oh, that copper ball is a crime.
yeah.
The copper ball is a crime.
Yeah, the copper ball UI needs fixing. There's a point in there, and that once you transform that damn thing, it should just have a button, become sword, become cauldron,
Yes.
etc., etc. It's
Also,
and these kind of things are just like you have what do they call it, workflow, you know?
Well, it's kind of, yeah, because it's kind of like
You should be
the
able
copper
to-
ball. I like the idea of the copper ball being able to change things, but then once
Yeah.
you've discovered a thing, you should just be able to click a button and say,
Yeah.
"That's what I want."
you should
Yeah.
be able to go between them too. So if it's a sword, you just be able to go directly to pipe or whatever.
Directly to the pipe, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back to copper ball, then to the pipe. Like
Mhm.
a nightmare. Bad design.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many easy ways it could have been fixed. You could have stopped the damn
Very simple.
crack from closing, so you don't have to reopen it with the sword every time. You could have changed like 3 things and made it seem better. It's
Yeah,
easy.
it was just a lot of bad UI UX
yeah.
decisions that they
It's-
could have fixed so easily.
Mm.
That's kind of why it makes me so mad because it's such an easy fix to avoid
Exactly,
how miserable it made
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Like it's more offensive than something that's like, ugh, just a bad idea in general. They should have just kept that the entire
Yeah.
puzzle. Like
Yeah.
that is a less egregious thing than this is fine if it has a better UX. Like
Yeah, between
That's
that and
so
the
bad.
ending puzzle, the rest of it's more obtuse than actually a crime.
yeah, I really legitimately enjoyed most of that game until that point when I was like, so many times you had to do the same puzzle. So many times. Offensive. I'm so offended. Still,
Yeah.
not over it. I'm
Yeah.
still traumatized.
I mean,
again,
it could be a good
no,
game.
Yeah,
It
I
had
feel
a
like
fabulous
again
crab.
But let's hear from Rizolka.
that ending section where it's kind of like, yes, crab. But the ending section where it's just kind of like you have a very short period of time to even work out what the fuck you're doing, and then it's just like, nope, guess what? You have to play this entire sequence again. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Christmas spices.
What have you been
Like
doing to that
cinnamon.
crab?
I don't know. I got it from a thrift store. I have washed it since, but it smells like
It smells like
spices.
it's had its way with a
like
gingerbread tree.
Christmas potpourri. You know, like how Christmas potpourri smells. That's exactly what it smells like.
You've had that for a
Sometimes-
while, and you've only just smelt it.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes you just gotta stop and smell the crabs.
you know, I never
Yeah.
thought to smell the crab. I'm sorry.
Stop sniffing the crab bits.
It smells really good though. It's
Uh,
the thing. It doesn't smell bad. It's just weird that it
Did he-
smells this
did he?
way.
Meet my psychically conjoined twin.
Fabulous.
But Baltic Warlock is really selling me an Ori
Crabulous?
here.
I love that. Crabulous.
Crabulous.
That's what we should have called it
Yeah.
in general. Hey, I am an
It smells like
adult.
rotting ocean.
Look at my bed. I'm an adult.
Yes, Pete is actually the oldest of us all.
I think that if I'm not, it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's a competition between you and trolls.
Yeah, I think I'm just a little bit younger than him.
Yeah.
I'm
just
older than
slightly.
trolls.
Oh, or maybe not.
Oh, see,
I'm probably the oldest one here. Yeah.
Icky Food
Ah,
Jigglypuff
nothing wrong with
collection
the
just out of
Jigglypuff
shop.
collection's over there. These are my.
This is the rainbow
Okay.
section.
I got a Totoro. I got a
Ah,
Shaman.
wow.
I got a Mimikyu. I got a look. This is my favorite one.
There's a stag
You
beetle.
talk amongst
Show and
yourselves.
tell.
It's fine.
yeah.
I'm not. I. This is not.
Oh yeah, so I was mentioning the
I'm
Jack
not
the
trying to
Ripper
derail.
game.
Yeah.
So like, I downloaded that. I illegally downloaded. I mean, like, what's it called? It was at Abandonware,
Yes.
but because it didn't come with instructions, I legitimately had no idea how it worked, and so people would just constantly come up to me going like, "Why aren't you doing anything, Sherlock?" And I'd just be like, "I don't know. Why aren't I doing anything? I can't find anything to click
I
on."
don't know.
It's just like they'd come at me like, you should. Oh yes, but it'd be like, like what's it called? Like,
Oh, that's
you know,
lovely.
it'd be like, oh, you have to go and do this. I'm like, well,
Its
how?
eyeball is really cute.
I've been clicking around on this screen for 5 minutes, and there is nothing for me to actually interact with.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the worst. When they don't give
Yeah.
you. That's what I'm saying about feedback. Like, they don't give you enough feedback. You're not. How are you supposed to know what to do?
Yeah.
And what's it called?
You know what a perpetrator of that is? I want to say Starship Titanic.
Oh yeah.
See, I've never played that, but I always wanted to because Douglas Adams.
It's a great game, but I just don't think Douglas Adams' storytelling translates well
It
outside
doesn't.
of a novel. Outside of a novel setting, because
I
stuff
said
happens
this in
that's just
in my review of the game. The thing about Douglas Adams is there's the humor is constant, whether you're reading the book or watching the Hitchhiker's Guide on TV or listening to it on the radio. It's a constant flow, and that's why it works so well. But when you put that into a game form, where most of the time, especially if you don't know what you're doing, is going to be spent, going back and forth between puzzles where nothing's happening, the humor is kind of lost. So
I feel like
as a game in and of itself, it's all right,
it's
but as a
weird.
Douglas
Yeah,
Adams work, it's terrible.
it's weird because the humor's still constant, but it's not at the same time because you have no idea.
what
You know
you're
what I
supposed to
mean?
do.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's and they do the
Again,
zany
it's
stuff
it's
and
broken
like
up by
that
going between
fucking
puzzles.
Yeah. I feel like the best example of Douglas Adams humor in a video game is the Labyrinth video game from.
Are we talking about the Nintendo one? That was
No.
terrible.
No, it was the Apple II C64 adventure game.
MSX, etc.
Yeah, it's really good. But the first part is it starts out with like a text adventure that was almost entirely written by Douglas Adams. And a lot of the puzzles are written by Douglas Adams. Like later puzzles are written by Douglas Adams as well.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You can do the weirdest shit, and it is so much funnier than the Hitchhiker's Guide text adventure, which I have a lot of opinions about. I know there are people who like it. I am not one of them. But it's like
it's not the best. I will say that.
if you try to go a direction, like if you're in a movie theater and there's like a place to get snacks, if you go east, and then if you try to go east again, you try to climb over the snack counter to get behind, and the person behind it has to push you back. Like there's a lot of that. If you try to go mashed potatoes, you'll shove your face in the pile of mashed potatoes. It's so funny. And like every interaction has a result that is a joke of some sort. And it's really good. It's really funny. And I wish that there had been a full game like that. I mean, not to say that I don't like the rest of that game, but that text adventure part is brilliant. And if Hitchhiker's Guide had been that game, it would have been one of my favorite games, hands down. And it's kind of a shame that it didn't have that kind of flow of humor the way that the text adventure part of Labyrinth does. Like everything is a joke, and it works as a game. It's I have a lot of opinions on this topic. I can
Lucy
talk about
says she's
That's why we
talking
get
about the text adventures. I could never really get into them in the first place.
you
I don't
know,
know why.
The interactive fiction of now is so good. People are making some of the
Yeah,
best
I've played some good
interactive
ones.
fiction
Yeah.
games, 10 times better than any game out of the 80s. That's also why I'm kind of harsh on those Infocom games, is because I can see what interactive fiction can do, and it's so much better than they did with it.
I guess I was
Like,
just
there
sort
are
of
good
born in the wrong
interactive
period
fiction
to
games.
enjoy text
That is
adventures,
true.
and I'm kind of iffy on any of them, no matter when they were made. So
Yeah, you know what? I think even these days it can be like an acquired taste because it took me a while to get into them, but
If
I
you
did.
like word puzzles, Ad Verbum is the text adventure game for you, and it was made
Ad
in like
Verbum.
2005. It's a more modern, all things considered. 2005 was a long time ago, apparently. But
That's when the first Carol Reed game came out.
but it's
They should be making one a year for 15 years,
Yeah.
and they haven't changed a damn bit.
And that's what I'm trying to find
Well,
out. But
we
it looks
haven't-
like at
Is
most
Carol Reed the person who got killed, or is Carol Reed?
Carol Reed is the main character.
Okay.
What's it called? For as far as I can tell, just by screenshots, at most it looks like it has gone widescreen.
Oh.
Oh, well, in
That's
that
great.
case.
Evolution.
Technology.
Well, there you go.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes with an email telling you that if you can run it at 1920 by 1080, please use the high definition version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Steena's in everyone. That very bizarre cleaner is in every one of them. So basically, the cleaner just shows up randomly. So like when we came across him, he was outside the tax office, and he said, "I will let you in, but you will what's it called? You have to give me 6 wildflowers." It's just like, what? And he's like, "I had
Why?
a dream. I had a dream that if I had
It's like
6
he's aware he's in an
wildflowers,
adventure game.
I would dream. I would what's it called? I would dream of the person I was meant to be with, and what's it called? And then like the next time I came to see him, he was like, I got him the flowers. He just came up and he just went, "I had another dream. I dreamt that there was a plastic leather."
You sure you're not playing the
jerky
Dracula game?
thing."
Yeah.
No.
Is that Igor?
That's not a puzzle.
No, this is just so. This is like so he shows up. He's apparently comic relief, but like he
Oh.
came up with this song called "Pleat Pleat Pleat." So nice you cannot eat.
Oh.
It's just
I was
crimes,
gonna say, is it
crimes,
like skeet, skeet,
crimes.
skeet, you know?
Yeah.
Skeet, 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 skeet. You know
Yeah.
that song?
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. But no, like what's it called? But yeah, no. So it just got me thinking, like about UI and all that. That
Mhm.
that how you keep calling it crimes. But
Because,
what's it
I
called?
mean, they are.
It are crimes. But yet you plan to drag me back down that hole. Yeah. But we have to see how, if they have learned. Have they reprimanded? Have they been reprimanded and have they redeemed themselves? I doubt it. But
Probably
but
not.
yeah, just that it makes me think about you could have like the best story idea, but if you give it this UI, then you might as well just be throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
Because if you hamper it down with the wrong play style, either no one's gonna they'll start it and then be like, "No, don't like this, I'm walking away," or they might just be like, "Oh my god, what a crime! How dare you! How dare you give me this? And yet I must know what happens in this story."
I want to talk about Torrance Passage for a second.
Yes.
I'll try to keep this.
Sounds like a PSA.
I
would
want to
like to
keep
talk
this
about
down
Torrance
to a minimum, but I will talk about Torrance Passage. When I
Torrance
mentioned
dictatorship. Yes.
no feedback from a game, the first puzzle in that game, you have to catch a worm and you have to click on it 3 times, and when you click on it, it darts away, and like you go, oh,
Oh, yeah.
I think I have to go and get something to catch
Exactly.
this worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you are totally stuck until you realize you have to click on the worm 3 times to catch it. There's 0 feedback that you are able to catch this worm. And in fact, it gives you feedback to give you the idea that you need something to catch the worm, because you have to do it 3 times rather than like twice. Oh, maybe I can just try it again. Like there's nothing. There's no feedback. It makes me so angry. That was the puzzle that I was like, I know I'm going this game, but I'm going to keep playing because maybe it'll get better.
Yeah.
No.
That's a crime.
That's a crime. It's
That's
a
a
criminal
crime.
crime.
That
It
is a
makes me so
crime.
mad.
I think any time that I would call it like it is a trope of the 3-click, failure message that suddenly succeeds.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just bad.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
yeah, so
bad.
that always breaks to me. Like there's also like what's it called? I had a thought now it's gone.
I think that's a good question, Lucy. Is that moon logic? I think there's a fine line between moon logic and what the fuckery.
Just a bad puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
the moon
like
bad
logic is
feedback.
a
Yeah.
bad puzzle that
Oh yeah.
has the solution to it makes is not nonsense. Just a nonsense solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's nonsense, I think it's moon logic. If it's a simple solution but just not explained properly, then that's bad feedback.
I think there's also there's
agree.
also like a part of that as well on the testing, like the people who test it, to basically like, why didn't you go back? Because I remember when Order of the Thorn was about to come out, and what's it called?
WTF logic, exactly.
Yeah, what's it called? So yeah, Order of the Thorn was coming out. I played it with Richard Cobbett, which like we had this whole like like being like, oh, these fucking by the way, where I'm going to be streaming that tomorrow as part of the Stop Dying Steve CGG thing. Yeah, I forgot about it as well. Like this morning, like I was about to go to sleep. It's been a weird week.
Time.
Yeah,
weird
I literally I was going to bed last night and I just suddenly went, I haven't done any of the rolls. I forgot this was happening. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's tomorrow.
I don't even know what time it is. So
it's tomorrow in a couple of hours. We'll talk about that afterwards. Anyway,
okay.
but so when we what's it called when we, what was it? I've lost my track. Oh yeah, so like there's part of it that you have to go through a swamp. Now before you go through the swamp, someone actually gives you a rhyme, which is the path through the swamp. And anytime that you diverge off that path, you get captured by like a dinosaur and thrown back to the beginning of the maze. So I go, okay, so technically there is no other way through this maze. And then so like we go through the maze, we get the thing from there, and then we get to the end, and then it's like, and then someone goes like, oh, did you not go and see this person in the swamp? I'm like, no, because it actively discouraged me from doing any sort of exploration. So why would I go into every scene and work out every other configuration?
Yeah.
So I actually went, like, I emailed Steve after playing that, after we finally found it, and I just went, Steve, you can't have a maze that actively discourages exploration and then expect someone to explore it and then make it a mandatory puzzle. So now there's a sign that as you're going past it, you go like, oh hey, what?
You could have just stopped it. You can't have a maze.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's the
of
kind of thing
crimes.
where you're basically saying, the player doesn't know what puzzle they're solving.
Yeah.
Is what you end up with.
So it was just
I
like
think that's the kind of thing that like that's a primo example of why you have QA. And like, how do these things not get caught by somebody playing them and being like, this is bad. This is a bad experience. How does that not get caught? I just wonder. Like,
well, the usual answer is QA logs it and the devs ignore it.
Yeah.
Also, no, I won't.
You won't load.
I said briefly about Torrance Passage. I'm going to stick to that.
Yeah.
Like going back to bad feedback for a bit. I'm working on a QuickTime event episode right now on RPG Maker games that aren't RPGs, and one of them's a point and click. Technically, I mean, but still.
I've seen a few of those. Yeah, interesting.
There's a puzzle. It's okay for the most part, but there is a puzzle where you're supposed to distract somebody and make them come out of their house by throwing a firework down a well next to the house and having the firework explode. Now, the firework is an inventory item, and you would think you would have to light it first. So I spent way too much time looking for matches or a torch or anything that I could use to ignite the firework, and then just on a whim, I decided to just try using the firework with well, and it lights by itself. I didn't have any matches or any kind of fire source on me, but the firework just lit, and the puzzle worked.
The puzzle had a few other things. I was with you,
but as if that weren't bad enough, later on in the game, there's a point where you're trapped in a cavern and you have to escape by blowing up some rocks with some dynamite. And I'm thinking of the previous puzzle with the firework. I'm thinking, okay, well, all I have to do is just stick the dynamite and it'll work. No, you actually have to light the dynamite with an external source this time. So, not only bad feedback, but inconsistency.
Careful with inconsistency.
That is bad design, inconsistent internal logic. If it works once, it should work again.
Exactly.
You should not give two different solutions to something that is basically the same puzzle.
Exactly.
To me, that's one of the primary things that can go that can be wrong with just any kind of design like that is be consistent with your own logic.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very important. If you have moon logic in your game, it should. You shouldn't.
It should at least
but
be
if you
consistent.
do,
Yeah.
but at least
If you're gonna fuck me over, at least fuck me over consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It looks like we have given birth to a new term in the chat, sun logic.
Well, sun logic was
Sun Logic is-
a thing before, I think.
Oh,
Not as
I haven't heard
prevalent.
it before,
Not as
but
prevalent as moon logic, but it was
Sun
still
logic's
there.
so simple it's boring.
Yeah.
Oh.
You need to every game needs to have a modicum of sun logic, because otherwise,
It should just be. It should feel natural in some way.
yeah, exactly.
You should be like, oh, I can do this because I can do this in the real world, or like, and it should feel like, oh, that
Here's
is
a
the
question.
solution.
Little with satellite
Is
logic.
the paper under the door and poking the key sun logic?
No, because it doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way.
Oh,
You
like
don't-
so, okay.
You don't unless somebody's locking themselves in the room. That's not
Yeah.
how doors work.
Yeah.
You lock them from the outside.
I couldn't resist bringing that up.
I know
We've
that
unleashed
doesn't-
Richard Cobbett within Pete.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It doesn't
But-
make any sense.
I
You
will
don't
say
lock
what-
it from the inside.
No.
Unless you're locking yourself in the room.
I know, DD.
But what's it called?
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. But what's it called? When it comes to the pencil and newspaper puzzle, the only one of those I slightly respect is in Mystery of the Druids, which is a crime upon itself, honestly. But the reason why I respect it is because most doors you do not have the space to take a key through underneath it. But this, you actually have to like take out the tiles that go underneath the door, so there is going to be that space. So that is the one time that I respect that puzzle would slightly work. And like,
Listen.
it's not a
Zor-
newspaper. You put a painting under there and pull out the painting.
Zork Grand Inquisitor kind of turned that on its head a little bit. You were locked in a cell that didn't actually have a keyhole, but you use a spell to make a keyhole and then poke the key onto the paper onto the door.
But where did the key come from?
The key was in the
Yeah.
It was in the lock, but you didn't
But it
have
doesn't
a
have a
view
lock.
of the lock
Lock.
on your side of the door. You
Well,
then
created.
why didn't you
magic
use the-
key and the lock? But
I like
Just
this.
why
version.
not on the
I
inside
like
of
this
the-
version. I just
Yeah.
You made the key and the lock with the magic spell, and it was on the other side. Is that what happened? Because that's
so
fine.
I know
Okay,
you
my
made at
style
least the
puzzle then.
lock, but I think the key was there before. I don't know. It's been a while since I played. I may be misremembering, but it was along those lines.
As someone who
Games
has had
against
to open
humanity.
a locked door from the other side, you take it off the hinges, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Games against
Yeah.
humanity.
So-
Take it off the hinges. I'm sorry, that's how.
So
it
that
works.
is 100% how my idea for Lorna Baines is, that rather than having like puzzles, like you have obstacles that then you can pick up anything in the world, and then if laterally you can do it in the real world, I have built in a way that you can do it. So like if you're like, I don't have the key to this door, well great, you can take the hinges off if you've got a screwdriver, or if you've got a metal
Yeah.
ruler,
Yeah.
or if you've got a pair of scissors. You know, like if you've got the hinges on your side, then yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And I've also put in stuff like, like if you break it, like if you get like a rock and basically smash the hinges off, you're not putting that door back on. And
Yeah,
someone might eventually say like, oh my god, did you see the door? You
somebody
can't
broke the
lock
door."
it anymore. Like what the fuck happened to the door?
You can also. I've also done this in the real world, and if Grundy's still in the chat, he'll remember this. If there's a lock that's like a padlock, you just take the part of the padlock off the door. You just screwdriver it off the
Yeah,
door, and then you can get in the locked door.
I like
and then
that.
you can
I like
you can
that.
break into a roof that you're not allowed to be on.
You've broken into a roof in real life?
Yeah, yeah.
With
I have
Grundy,
witnesses-
apparently.
Oh.
I have witnesses in the chat if he's still here.
Well then,
But one more.
this has moved on
one
from
more crime I
quote
can-
crimes to admitting to real crimes. Awesome.
Real crime. Yeah.
We paid our money to be in that mansion. It wasn't a crime.
This will be Pete's last appearance on Yar Talk. Enjoy it.
Come get me! I'll cough on you.
As an aside, I've heard from people who run escape rooms that you basically have to make sure nobody's carrying a screwdriver or can find a screwdriver or maintenance left a screwdriver, because otherwise the team will disassemble everything in the room.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Oh, I thought
true.
you were going to say they will try to poke the key in onto the paper.
I will tell you that I did worse crimes in that mansion, and I feel really bad about it. of shooting off fireworks where we were not supposed. That was a whole
You're here,
time.
my child. Confess your secrets, child.
I
We-
did worse crimes in that
Listen.
mansion. Like I murdered that
admitted
butler.
to the people who own the mansion that we did that, and we accidentally made scorch
That you
marks
murdered
on
the
the back
butler?
patio. So I'm clean.
What?
My crimes are clean, but I do feel bad about that. Still,
We've actually got an escape room here close to where I live, and I've never been to it yet. And as soon as this whole Corona shit goes away, I might actually rectify that. I might look into.
And you might secretly
Yeah.
have a screwdriver on you.
we didn't break into the house. We had access to the house. We broke into
Yeah.
the door that led to the roof that we weren't allowed on.
Pete's not in
That-
quarantine. She's under house arrest.
That's why you can't see my ankles.
Yeah.
But speaking of houses and locks, but as just a topic I mean to bring up, puzzles or at least obstructions where the obstruction has nothing to do with the puzzle, i.e., I mean, Seventh Guest is full of these. You know, the classic example being you solve a bunch of soup cans and now a door on the other side of the room is open.
Did you clip my?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just gonna say, just for the
It's
court.
DD, of course you do.
Yeah. See.
I have
When it comes to,
photographic
like-
evidence of my crimes.
Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Yeah. When it comes to Seventh Guest, I would say it slightly makes sense because the house itself is haunted.
They don't even own the mansion anymore. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yay! Excellent. Hey, Grundy.
He
But yeah,
was
no, like,
wondering
so,
whether
like-
he should speak up for you or not.
But when it came to
I
like,
have
yeah,
nothing to hide.
when it comes to like, you know, like those sort of things, like where it's kind of like you've solved a puzzle and something else happens elsewhere. Yeah, like what's it called? Seventh Guest Mansion is its own entity. It is as cursed as
It's
South.
alive.
It is alive,
Yeah.
exactly. So
It's
Yeah.
horny.
that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Although I will say that is one thing that always really bothered me about Myst, in the sense that you have to solve a puzzle, but you don't know if you've solved it. You have to keep going backwards and forwards.
Well, Seventh Guest is exactly the same. You basically have to randomly re-walk the mansion to see if any doors have opened because you don't know what the thing you solved just did.
Yeah.
I think that's when I dipped. I don't think I've ever finished the Seventh Guest because I've been like, I don't have it in me anymore.
I don't know if I can agree about the lack of feedback in Myst, though. I think there's enough there.
It's what's it called? It's got feedback. It's just it's a lot of back and forth work to me.
Yeah,
And
different tastes, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I
We will
like-
forever
I like
agree to disagree, I
that
guess.
in
And
Myst.
honestly,
Yeah,
again,
look-
it's the loneliness in Myst that gets me. I like to
And
have
see,
people I can talk
like,
Mm.
because it's purposeful. You do have people you can talk to.
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
Books
no,
and
no,
in books.
no. They talk at you. They don't
Well-
actually talk with you.
Well, let me say, I like Myst for the same reason that a lot of us like Animal Crossing. It's kind of serene. You
It's
just
just
kind of,
quiet,
it's
just a
quiet, and you can just
That's
take
the
your
perfect
time.
word,
and,
actually.
no
to describe
urgency. It's just like you're just.
In fact,
it's-
there's a
it's
whole
like-
age named after being serene. Too bad it's in a shitty game.
I don't know. I really like a lot about Myst
Mm.
that I know that people don't like.
Yes,
and
Lucy, I like
understand
Myst. I admit it.
Why?
I love
But
Myst.
I love the loneliness. I love it's kind of eerie.
Mm.
I like the
I agree,
eeriness
yeah.
of the loneliness.
Well, it's
in
yeah. I
Myst.
think it's meant to make it's off-settle you, because it's kind of like
And later games have people you can talk to. I mean, you can talk to what's that fool's name? What's his name?
what's that fool name?
Sabadero
The guy. I
in
don't-
Myst 3.
There's people. There's people you can talk to.
I just have to get far enough along
Okay,
in the game.
just
I
don't
can
remember the
I can
name.
understand people not liking Myst, but why the fuck is everybody fixated on levers? There's like not even that many levers in the
There's
first
not that many
game, or
levers.
any
I
other
don't
It's
know.
game
really
for that
not,
matter.
eh? It's just it's one of those things that's become a meme, and
I guess.
I don't know where it started. I think it's probably the marker switches. That's probably where it's come from.
Although the levers in Uru are what screwed us over in the end.
No, the floor is what fucking screwed us over.
The floor, yeah.
I mean, we
Intelladon.
got trapped by
what's-
levers. I will say that.
You got trapped. You got trapped in a lift.
I did. I got trapped in a Starbucks cup.
Yeah, the Starbucks cup. That's right.
The Starbucks cup
That was
mid-anus
fun.
I
entry.
fell through
That
the
was
floor
so
with the
fun.
lift. That's what
We
happened.
both did. We both did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got trapped in a Starbucks cup mid-sphincter.
And
Mid
we
mushroom
should play
sphincter.
Uru again just for fun.
Story of my
A
life.
Starbucks cup in a mushroom sphincter. I ask you, what is not to like about Myst? Come on.
Exactly.
Right?
I was the one trapped in it, and I still like this. So, what is what's your excuse?
Yeah, it's a lever, not a lever.
I don't say lever like leather. I say lever like lever.
Red leather, yellow lever. Red lever, yellow lever.
Lever.
Lever, lever.
Everybody says it differently. Nobody cares. The world is
Yeah, whatever.
dying. So
Yeah.
Whatever. Back on
Maybe
topic.
it's
Back on
like-
topic.
Say lever.
Yeah, back on topic.
Yeah.
Can we think of any more crimes against humanity, so to speak, in point-and-click
there's so
user
many.
interfaces
It's
and
hard to,
feedback and that
like,
kind of thing?
Dee say to me, she said, why do I play so many games that turn out to be crimes? And it's because I like to play obscure stuff, and the obscure stuff, they tended to make their own UI, and they were like, we can make our own way of how things work. So there's a very, very difficult line of actually being like, yes, you succeeded, but mostly it's, no, you really didn't. You really didn't succeed. But they're interesting because there's certain things that you can take from them and then be like, maybe I can see what you're doing here, but I can make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's really
Like-
the definition for me. Is
Yeah.
that,
And of course, obscure games that are really good tend to get
Yeah.
discovered. You know, it's if it's remained obscure, it's usually got some flaw with it, and it's kind of fun to explore that flaw.
sometimes things are obscure because nobody's ever heard of them, but they're actually pretty good. And then like you go, that's another thing is like the best feeling is finding something that's like nobody's ever heard of,
Nobody's ever heard of. Yeah,
and it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
an amazing
Mhm.
game.
I
That's
mean
a
there are
great
YouTubers who
Like Blue Heat.
who have become famous for this, like Ross Scott, who is very good at finding weird things that. Yeah.
What's the name of it? What's the name of the game?
Well, we've scared of Uzo.
Oh, Dan has a
No, he
yeah.
thinks that there might be someone at his door, so he's going to go check it.
Dan has a great one. Limited
come
inventory
to
for no
question
damn
about
reason.
Huh? Eh?
DD,
Ah,
there's a free
yeah.
camera.
No, but
No. You're Dan's 100% right. Like having a limited inventory, and then having to drop something and then not being able to pick it up
Oh.
again.
yeah, Alone in the
Yeah.
Dark could have been a
Carandia. Carandia
conventional
does that.
adventure game.
Yeah.
Carandia does that too.
Ugh.
I mean,
Oh, that makes me
Alone
mad.
in the Dark could have been a fairly pleasant game if you weren't doing inventory management the whole time.
Yeah.
So like I was having
I think
a
they were basically
Resident
trying
Evil
too
games.
hard to be Resident Evil.
Evil, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the last Adventure X, I think it was, or the Venture X. No, it was the Adventure X before. I was talking to someone about Lorna Baines and the whole idea of being able to, pick up anything. And then I was like, but I'd probably want to limit the inventory because technically you could then, pick up infinite everything. And then they were like, no, you shouldn't limit your, your inventory. Like limiting inventory is bad. And I'm like, well, no, it's more. I'd still give like 20 inventory slots, which, considering that these items can do a lot of things in them, different things, it's like you don't want to, because they also break. But so it's kind of like you don't want to have just like 100 inventory items for then the player then to scroll through. And it's like, no, you should never limit inventory. And I'm like, I think there's
Yeah,
a case.
I
to
mean, I think
yeah.
you should have a limit because you can't carry everything.
Yeah.
But having said
I can't
that,
take
it's
the whole
funny
damn
that you
world
can-
with me.
Mythmaster.
You can
Yeah.
shove
Oh,
you can
Fizzle's
shove a
back.
whole full size ladder into your pants,
Yeah.
but you can only
Yeah.
carry 10 things.
But,
You know what I mean? It's a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
I think that's so funny when that happens, though. You're like, I don't have any
Yeah.
room for that, and you're like, holy lad, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, because like
Room for it.
Like
Yeah,
what's it
yeah.
called? What game is it? It's I have no mouth and I must scream.
Ugh.
Like you've got Gorister saying I can't take the whole damn world with me, but he can put 2 women in his pants.
Yes. Two whole women.
One of which is angry at him and wants to bite him. So it's kind of like, well, why are you putting that in your pants? Don't put that in your pants.
Over encumbered jumps out 50-foot cheese wheels.
You know,
Uh,
I never really thought about it that way, but yeah.
I don't even think
he
Trolls
does
thought of it
fit
that
two
way.
Women in his pants, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Women in the
Can't keep the
past.
whole
Goes
damn
and
world
does
with
that,
me.
huh?
Oh boy.
But just to bring back Carandia as an example, Carandia is also an example of implementing limited inventory well, in that objects stay where you left them, and
That I like.
and if you
Yeah.
inadvertently destroy one, it will respawn somewhere. That it does let you work around the limitation quite well.
Although, like, what's it called? So, like, you know, there's the room near the end of Corandia 2 where you're doing, like, the rainbow potion puzzle.
Yeah, and it just gives you everything.
It gives, like, which is fine. I'm happy with that because, like, what's it called? They give you a place that you can throw it away if you don't want those pieces and all that. But, like, there's, like, you know, there's the potion, like, the book of, like, you know, stuff that you can do. And it's like, oh, great, I can do this one that I've, you know, never been able to do because I didn't have all the ingredients for it. The, celebration one. So this is the only room that you can do the celebration in. But, so, like, when we did it, during when I was streaming it, we'd done everything except for the celebration. So we went ahead and did it. And then, because there's only certain spells that you're allowed to do in that room, it cleared out all of our previous work. So, like, we were like, oh, that's fun. And it was like, no! It's just me and Grundy, like, yelling at the top of our voices, like, being like, because, like, we were, like, one potion away from finishing.
Terrible.
Just being like, no!
It was very frustrating. Frustrating experience.
I will
Yeah, you
call the
do have
Rainbow
that
Ring
quick
puzzle
TV.
out as an example of also bad internal logic, or at least inconsistent logic. Is up until then, every time you've needed 7 colors, they had been in the order you took down at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, this time they were both.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
annoying.
yeah, the first time I solved that, I put the damn order in and it didn't
Soup's
work.
on.
Soup's on!
I'm getting frustrated, yes.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
I don't know anything about that subject.
Ween.
I have nothing to teach you.
Yep, there's the clip. I apparently make a particular noise that everyone was like, what is that noise I made? And I just was like, that's what happens when I get sad.
It's funny when you accidentally make inhuman noises and you're like, God, that really got to me, huh?
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
really tragic, that noise that I just made.
So there you go. Enjoy that. All right,
Yeah.
who's got stuff to plug?
There's the Steveathon tomorrow.
Yes,
Steve,
so
huh?
what's it called? So,
Sorry, Steve.
in 23 hours from now, Grandma Hall will be doing something for about 2 hours or 3 hours. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll be taking a short break, and then we'll be joining the game. What's the
Classic
I
Gamers
can't
Guild.
remember. Thank you, Classic Gamers Guild, because I know it's CGG. It's just like my brain just went fuzzle. So they're doing a Steam marathon fundraising, and so we're jumping on at the last hurdle which is 9 p.m. EST, which is like midday for me. We're going to jump on for 2 hours and play Order of the Thorn. So I've got Wanderer and Grundy and Pete, and we're going to be doing our voices. You know, the voice thing. I haven't given any roles out yet.
Yes.
The only one that I know for certain is the fairy bartender is gonna be me, because that's my face. That's my face in the game. I didn't like, what's it called? I didn't even get my own. I applied for it.
Oh, your
I
own
didn't-
voice.
I tried to put my
couldn't
own
voice
voice
your own
to
character?
my own face, and then they hired someone else, and I'm like, I could have done this better. I'm sorry. But so I will be fixing that problem tomorrow.
Nice.
But that's what we've got on the Grammar Hole. In general, because I'm working from home at the moment, although bizarre things like they keep saying, oh, we'll reevaluate it every week, and I'm just like, no, I told you, I'm either working from home or I'm on leave. So fun times with that. But I've been doing a whole heap of little bits of streaming. Like I said, we've been playing Chocolatier. I've been playing some Animal Crossing. We'll go back to playing random games, like, you know, like adventure games. So there's a lot of streaming that's happening, basically. And also, to plug Dave, we've been back playing Tex Murphy together.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
You guys
And
play
that's
Mean Streets yet?
Oh, yeah.
So we've played Mean Streets, and we've played Martial Memorandum, and we're about 3/4 of the way through Under a Killing Moon now. Yeah. So
voiced
basically,
by us. I will add.
yeah, voiced by us. We've been we switched off the voices, and it's all us.
Yep.
I'm Tex
it's
Murphy.
fun.
Nice to meet you.
And now I'm Chelsea.
Yeah,
So
mac
that's
and
big
cheese.
fun.
I'm also playing and then there were none again.
Yeah, and then there were bums. Yeah. And who gave
So
you
I'm
that
playing
copy
that
of
on my
Then There Were
channel.
Bums?
That would be you.
Yeah.
And thank you for that because
Thank you,
it's
Big
becoming
Fish.
a really fun. It's becoming a really fun series. Like I'm really getting into it. But yeah, that went on hiatus for a bit because of other shit. But I'm back, and I'll probably be randomly streaming a lot more lately because
Yay,
I don't
Corona.
have a job anymore.
All the things that are happening
We're in
right
quarantine, but there's a lot to watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh
now.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Streaming.
Hell, I was even thinking about streaming Sid Meier's Pirates, the original one from ages ago.
Shit.
So
You
let's
should.
Yeah.
let's
That
just
game's
do that
great.
randomly
Yes.
Hell
out
yeah.
of nowhere.
I'm still trying to stream at least once a week, and as I mentioned earlier, I've got a QuickTime event video about RPG Maker games that aren't RPGs. I couldn't really find a title for it that wasn't cumbersome in some way, but I've got that in the works. I'm making good progress on it. Should probably be ready sometime in April, I would imagine. So be on the
Very
lookout for that.
nice.
Of course, patrons get early access and behind-the-scenes updates. And Pick a Dog, Voozle, anything to plug for you?
Nothing planned for me. Who's what you got?
I've been getting into streaming more, but I've got one last stream of Twilight Princess on Sunday, 6 a.m. AEDT time. So yeah, I'll just be finishing that off.
I saw you went live with Sea Dogs 2. I really wish I could have watched that. I was out on the road at the time though, but damn, I wish I could have watched
Yeah.
that.
So I don't know what else I've got on, but that's about it basically.
All right, cool. So lots of options. Keep your eyes open for that. Are we recording anything after we get done
no,
here? I don't think so.
it will just. No, I think that what's it called?
No.
We might try and grab. Well, we're gonna grab the foo, and we'll try and grab Grundy and see if we might play some Jackbox. But I don't know if we'll do that to
Yes.
the public or not.
But there is another episode of FMV Club that just came out
Yes.
today. I saw that, so go check that out.
That is a hell of a
That's
thing we're
that's
doing over there.
A
that's
hell of a thing.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That is a
Well,
I don't
thing.
know what I'd call
That
it,
can
but it's a hell
accurately
of a
be
thing.
described as a thing. So yeah, that's all from us. Thanks to everybody that came by and watched. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again to Pete and Wanderer. Don't be a stranger. Come by more often. As well as Pickle Dog and Rizolka and Avuzal. And we will see you next time. Sayonara.
Bye.
Bye.
Boop, boop.